There exists within each human being a force far more potent than mere talent or circumstance, the power of imagination. This faculty, when properly harnessed, becomes the architect of destiny, the unseen hand that shapes the life we ultimately lead. Imagination is not simply idle daydreaming or fanciful thinking. It is the deliberate, conscious construction of mental images of the life we aspire to live, the person we wish to become, and the contributions we are destined to make. It is through imagination that we breathe life into possibility, turning what is unseen into the living reality of tomorrow. Every remarkable achievement in history began as an idea in the mind of someone who dared to imagine more than their present conditions allowed. The difference between those who accomplish extraordinary things and those who drift through life lies not in circumstances, but in their willingness to cultivate and act upon their vision. By holding a clear picture of what we desire, we plant the seeds for persistent effort, disciplined action, and unwavering focus. Our thoughts, nurtured with emotion and belief, grow into habits, and habits solidify into the very fabric of our lives. Imagination also serves as the lens through which we interpret challenges. Life will invariably present obstacles, yet within each obstacle lies the opportunity for growth. The imaginative mind does not merely see a wall, it sees a door, a path around, or a lesson hidden within. By envisioning solutions before they exist, we prime ourselves to act with clarity, creativity, and courage. What appears impossible under ordinary perception becomes achievable when filtered through the lens of determined imagination. Moreover, the act of visualizing our aspirations strengthens confidence and nurtures the belief that we are capable of attaining them. When we vividly picture ourselves achieving a goal, we experience a rehearsal of success, and the mind begins to align itself with the actions necessary to manifest that vision. Every step toward realization becomes purposeful, every decision informed by the mental blueprint we have created. The imagination thus becomes both the teacher and the motivator, guiding our energy toward meaningful endeavors. Yet, imagination is not a static power. It demands exercise, experimentation, and courage. Those who succeed most often embrace mental exploration, daring to try new ideas, challenge old limitations, and redefine the boundaries of possibility. Each creative experiment, whether it leads to immediate success or temporary failure, enriches the mind and fortifies the spirit. The person who allows imagination to stagnate will find their life dictated by external circumstance. The one who cultivates it will find themselves shaping circumstance according to purpose. Finally, the highest expression of imagination lies not in personal gain, but in contribution. A meaningful life is constructed when the creativity of the mind is used to uplift, inspire, and transform the world around us. When imagination is combined with action, it has the power to influence not only our own destiny, but the lives of countless others. To imagine boldly is to engage in a process of creation that transcends self-interest, connecting us to something far greater than ourselves, the enduring impact we leave behind. The power of imagination is, therefore, the most valuable asset we possess. It is the starting point of every accomplishment, the compass guiding us through adversity, the source of self-belief, and the instrument through which we contribute to the world. By nurturing this faculty, by envisioning with clarity, courage, and purpose, we hold within our minds the capacity to create lives of significance, to build legacies of influence, and to experience the profound fulfillment that comes when thought becomes reality. Imagination is the foundation upon which all great achievement is built. It is the creative faculty of the mind that allows a person to conceive of what does not yet exist, to form mental images of outcomes, possibilities, and innovations that have not yet materialized. This power, often underestimated, is what separates ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. Every significant advancement in human history, every invention, every masterpiece, every movement that changed the course of civilization began as an idea, a product of imagination. It is not enough to possess ambition or skill. Without the ability to imagine the desired result, all efforts remain unfocused and lack the vitality to transform potential into reality. The human mind, when properly trained to imagine vividly and with purpose, becomes the architect of one's destiny. By imagining a goal clearly, we set in motion the mental and emotional forces that drive consistent action toward its attainment. The act of imagining is, in essence, the blueprint for success. Imagination allows us to see beyond our current circumstances. Life, in its daily routine, often confines people to the limitations of what is visible, tangible, and immediate. Yet the imaginative mind refuses to accept these confines as permanent. It stretches beyond the ordinary, daring to picture the extraordinary. When we imagine a better life, a successful enterprise, or a significant personal achievement, we are exercising our innate capacity to create. Each image formed in the mind serves as a guiding beacon, illuminating the steps needed to progress from present reality to desired outcome. By visualizing success, we prepare the subconscious mind to recognize opportunities, to make connections that others may overlook, and to persist when obstacles arise. Imagination, therefore, functions not merely as fantasy, but as a practical instrument for problem-solving and goal attainment. The power of imagination also lies in its ability to transform abstract ideas into actionable plans. When a person pictures an outcome vividly and repeatedly, the mind begins to map the necessary steps, generating ideas, strategies, and solutions to achieve it. This is why disciplined imagination is inseparable from effective planning. It is not idle daydreaming, but a conscious and deliberate effort to mold reality through mental rehearsal and visualization. The brain does not distinguish vividly imagined experiences from actual experiences in terms of learning and conditioning. By repeatedly envisioning success, one conditions the mind to adopt the attitudes, behaviors, and persistence required to make that vision real. Imagination, then, is both the spark and the roadmap for the journey from concept to achievement. Furthermore, imagination is the seedbed of innovation. Progress and advancement depend on the ability to see possibilities that do not yet exist, to conceive alternatives to existing conditions, and to imagine solutions where others perceive insurmountable barriers. Those who leverage imagination are not limited by current resources or prevailing conditions. They see beyond the what is to the what can be. This mental practice fosters creativity and originality, allowing individuals to approach challenges with novel perspectives. By imagining alternatives and experimenting mentally with outcomes, a person develops the capacity to innovate and adapt, which is essential in a world where change is constant and the path to success is rarely linear. Imagination also cultivates resilience and perseverance. A person who has mentally experienced the success they seek develops an inner conviction that sustains them through difficulties. When setbacks occur, the mind anchored in a vivid vision of achievement refuses to surrender. Imagination instills hope, provides motivation, and reinforces the belief that obstacles are temporary, not permanent. The image of success becomes a mental magnet, drawing effort, focus, and energy toward its realization. In this way, imagination serves as both the compass and the fuel, guiding the individual while sustaining the drive to continue despite challenges. Finally, imagination bridges the gap between thought and action. It is the engine that converts desire into initiative. A person may possess goals, aspirations, and intentions, but without a clear mental image of what they truly want, these remain abstract and ineffectual. Imagination converts abstract desires into concrete visions, energizing the mind and awakening the will to act. It creates a compelling picture that pulls one forward, making the pursuit of goals purposeful, strategic, and inspired. In essence, imagination is the foundational tool through which human potential is realized. It is the unseen force behind every success story, the invisible hand shaping reality, and the primary source of creative energy that fuels achievement. By mastering the power of imagination, a person gains the ability to design their life consciously, to rise above limitations, and to bring into existence the extraordinary from the seeds of thought. It is the starting point, the foundation, and the driving force that transforms dreams into measurable, tangible, and meaningful accomplishments. Visualization is the process by which imagination is given form and direction, transforming abstract desires into concrete mental images that guide thought, emotion, and action. It is not merely thinking about what one wants, but seeing it vividly, with as much clarity and detail as possible, until the mind accepts it as a tangible reality. When a person engages in this practice consistently, the imagined outcome begins to shape behavior, decisions, and even perception, aligning every aspect of their being toward the fulfillment of that vision. The mind, having experienced the desired result internally, starts to recognize opportunities in the external world that correspond to the internal image, essentially creating a bridge between thought and reality. Visualization is the catalyst that converts potential energy into purposeful action, fueling ambition with clarity, precision, and focus. To visualize effectively, one must first create a detailed mental picture of the life they wish to lead or the goal they intend to achieve. This image must be vivid, complete, and emotionally charged. The mind responds not only to the clarity of the picture, but to the intensity of feeling associated with it. When a person imagines themselves achieving a significant accomplishment, feeling the pride, satisfaction, and joy of that success, the subconscious mind begins to accept it as possible, even inevitable. This emotional reinforcement strengthens commitment, sharpens determination, and generates the energy needed to take consistent, decisive steps toward the goal. Visualization is not a passive exercise, it is an active rehearsal of success that prepares the individual to act with confidence and purpose. Moreover, visualization is a tool for cultivating resilience and overcoming obstacles. Life's challenges often appear insurmountable because the mind cannot yet see a path forward. By picturing a desired outcome in vivid detail, one trains the mind to focus not on the difficulty, but on the solution. The act of visualizing oneself navigating challenges successfully transforms fear and doubt into creativity and problem-solving ability. The mind, having already seen the victory, begins to generate strategies, recognize alternatives, and remain committed in the face of adversity. This process turns setbacks into lessons and failures into stepping stones, because the envisioned success remains a constant reference point, a mental anchor that ensures persistence even when external circumstances are unfavorable. Visualization also strengthens decision-making and clarity of purpose. When the mind has a clear image of what it wants to achieve, choices become simpler and more focused. Every action, every effort, and every resource can be evaluated against this mental picture. If a decision aligns with the vision, it is pursued with conviction. If it does not, it is discarded without hesitation. This clarity reduces wasted energy and maximizes effectiveness, ensuring that efforts are directed exclusively toward progress. The power of visualization lies in its ability to unify thought, emotion, and action, creating harmony between what one desires and how one moves through the world. Furthermore, visualization fosters confidence and self-belief. By repeatedly seeing oneself succeed, the mind internalizes the possibility of achievement. The imagined success becomes familiar and attainable, gradually replacing uncertainty and self-doubt with conviction and courage. This mental rehearsal builds an internal narrative of competence that is then expressed externally through posture, speech, behavior, and interaction with others. When one has visualized success in a consistent and detailed manner, the individual begins to act as though achievement is already within reach, naturally attracting the circumstances, opportunities, and alliances needed to bring the vision into reality. Visualization also enhances creativity and innovation. By imagining outcomes that do not yet exist, the mind is trained to explore possibilities beyond current limitations. The act of mentally constructing scenarios, experimenting with different strategies, and envisioning multiple pathways cultivates a mindset of resourcefulness and originality. The imaginative process generates new ideas, solutions, and approaches that may not have been considered otherwise, ensuring that the pursuit of meaningful goals is not only persistent but also intelligent and adaptive. Finally, visualization serves as a compass for personal growth and fulfillment. When a person consistently imagines the life they aspire to, they become more attuned to their values, purpose, and potential. Every action, habit, and decision begins to reflect the life envisioned in the mind, creating alignment between desire and reality. By seeing the future clearly, the individual cultivates patience, discipline, and determination, understanding that each step, no matter how small, is part of a larger trajectory toward meaningful accomplishment. Visualization is the process by which the mind rehearses success, transforms desire into action, and channels imagination into a living, purposeful reality. Through the disciplined practice of visualization, one gains the ability to translate dreams into tangible outcomes. The mental image becomes a beacon, the emotional intensity becomes the fuel, and the aligned actions become the pathway. In this way, visualization transforms potential into achievement, ambition into reality, and the imagined life into the life actually lived. It is the conscious exercise of the mind's creative power, the deliberate shaping of thought into action, and the primary tool by which individuals design and manifest the meaningful life they desire. The ability to transform obstacles into opportunities is one of the most powerful applications of imagination. Life, by its very nature, is filled with challenges, setbacks, and unforeseen difficulties. Yet, the person who has cultivated the faculty of imagination perceives these obstacles not as permanent barriers, but as invitations for growth, innovation, and discovery. Every difficulty, when approached with a creative mind, contains within it the seeds of potential advancement. The imaginative mind does not focus on the limitation itself. Rather, it explores the possibilities hidden within the problem, seeking alternative routes, solutions, and advantages that others might overlook. This perspective transforms adversity from a source of frustration into a catalyst for progress, strengthening character and sharpening the skills necessary for achievement. Imagination allows an individual to mentally rehearse solutions before encountering them in reality. When faced with a challenge, the mind trained in imaginative thinking can envision multiple approaches, weigh their potential outcomes, and select the most effective path forward. By simulating success mentally, a person reduces fear and hesitation, replacing them with confidence and clarity. The obstacle that initially appeared insurmountable is reframed as a problem to solve, a puzzle to decode, or a lesson to master. This mental approach shifts perception from limitation to opportunity, fostering resilience and an unwavering belief that no difficulty is too great to overcome when approached strategically and creatively. Moreover, the imaginative process encourages flexibility and adaptability. Challenges in life rarely conform to expectations or follow predictable patterns. The rigid mind sees a single path blocked and assumes failure, while the imaginative mind explores multiple angles, experiments with different solutions, and adapts strategies in real time. By envisioning various outcomes and mentally testing alternatives, a person cultivates the ability to pivot, innovate, and respond effectively under pressure. Obstacles, in this context, are not threats but training grounds for skill, endurance, and resourcefulness. Each setback becomes an opportunity to expand one's thinking, broaden perspective, and develop problem-solving abilities that are essential for long-term success. Imagination also fosters a proactive approach to challenges. Rather than reacting to difficulties with frustration or fear, the imaginative mind anticipates obstacles and prepares solutions in advance. By visualizing potential problems and imagining effective responses, an individual creates a mental roadmap for navigating adversity. This foresight reduces the element of surprise and equips a person to act decisively when confronted with actual challenges. The ability to foresee complications and prepare for them mentally turns obstacles into stepping stones, allowing one to maintain momentum toward their goals despite setbacks. Furthermore, imagination imbues obstacles with meaning and purpose. Every difficulty encountered can be transformed into a lesson or an experience that strengthens character and deepens understanding. The person who imagines the potential benefits hidden within a challenge perceives failure not as defeat, but as an essential part of growth. This perspective transforms frustration into motivation, fear into courage, and resistance into resilience. Obstacles become teachers, revealing strengths previously unknown, inspiring creative solutions, and guiding the individual toward higher levels of personal and professional development. The imaginative mind also fosters innovation in the face of difficulty. When conventional approaches fail, the ability to imagine alternatives becomes the key to breakthrough solutions. Many of history's greatest achievements emerged precisely because someone refused to accept limitations as final. They imagined new methods, devised unique strategies, and discovered opportunities where others saw only insurmountable barriers. By training the mind to think creatively in response to obstacles, a person not only solves immediate problems, but also develops the innovative capacity necessary to thrive in an ever-changing world. Finally, the act of transforming obstacles into opportunities strengthens confidence and self-reliance. Each time a challenge is overcome through imaginative problem solving, the individual reinforces the belief in their own capability to navigate life's difficulties. This self-assurance becomes a powerful force, enabling the person to confront future challenges with composure, courage, and strategic thinking. The imaginative mind recognizes that obstacles are temporary and surmountable, that every difficulty presents an avenue for growth, and that the measure of success lies not in avoiding challenges, but in learning to convert them into opportunities for advancement. By exercising imagination to reinterpret obstacles as opportunities, a person develops resilience, creativity, foresight, and resourcefulness. They come to see challenges not as hindrances, but as essential components of the journey toward meaningful accomplishment. Imagination transforms adversity into possibility, turning setbacks into stepping stones and problems into platforms for achievement. It is this ability to envision potential within difficulty, to see opportunity where others see defeat, that allows a person to rise above circumstance and create a life of purpose, growth, and extraordinary fulfillment. The connection between imagination and self-belief is profound, for imagination serves as both the origin and the sustainer of confidence. The mind cannot conceive of what it does not believe to be possible, and the act of imagining success, accomplishment, or personal growth cultivates the belief that such outcomes are within reach. Every thought, every mental image of triumph, carries with it a subtle but powerful message to the subconscious: success is achievable, and effort directed toward that end is meaningful. When a person consistently visualizes themselves overcoming challenges, achieving goals, and realizing their potential, the subconscious mind begins to internalize these scenarios as probable realities. This internalization strengthens self-confidence, allowing the individual to act decisively, persist through difficulties, and take risks that others might avoid out of fear or doubt. Imagination, therefore, is not merely a creative tool. It is the cornerstone upon which self-belief is constructed. The process begins with the conscious act of forming mental images of desired achievements. When a person sees themselves excelling in their career, mastering a skill, or living according to their highest values, the mind begins to accept these images as attainable. The vividness of the mental picture, combined with emotional intensity, triggers a physiological and psychological response that reinforces belief. Feeling the pride, satisfaction, and fulfillment associated with imagined success primes the subconscious mind to act in ways that align with that vision. Every decision becomes intentional, every action purposeful, and every obstacle becomes a challenge to overcome, rather than a reason to quit. Imagination thus functions as both rehearsal and reinforcement, allowing belief to grow naturally as the mind becomes accustomed to envisioning success. Moreover, imagination enables individuals to see themselves in roles they have not yet occupied, bridging the gap between present reality and future potential. Many people fail to achieve greatness not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they fail to believe in their ability to succeed. By consciously imagining oneself performing at the highest level, handling responsibilities with competence, or navigating complex situations with skill, a person cultivates an internal sense of capability. This mental rehearsal strengthens confidence, fosters a proactive mindset, and diminishes self-doubt. The person who imagines consistently begins to act as though the imagined scenario is already real, creating a self-fulfilling cycle in which belief generates action, and action reinforces belief. Imagination also nurtures resilience, a critical component of self-belief. Challenges, setbacks, and failures are inevitable, yet the imaginative mind frames these experiences not as reflections of personal inadequacy, but as temporary circumstances to be overcome. By visualizing oneself navigating obstacles successfully, a person develops the inner conviction that difficulties can be surmounted, and that setbacks are not final judgments on their abilities. This sense of competence, rooted in mental imagery, allows individuals to maintain focus and perseverance even in the face of adversity. The imaginative rehearsal of success strengthens determination, enabling the individual to persist when others might falter. In addition, imagination amplifies courage and initiative. Belief in oneself often falters when the outcome seems uncertain or the path appears dangerous. Imagination provides a safe space to explore possibilities, test decisions mentally, and rehearse actions before taking them in reality. By envisioning potential challenges and mentally navigating solutions, the individual gains both confidence and clarity. The act of imagining success cultivates courage by familiarizing the mind with the experience of achievement, making it less intimidating when confronted with real-world obstacles. This courage, reinforced by imagination, propels the individual toward decisive action, turning thought into tangible progress. Furthermore, imagination strengthens the alignment between identity and aspiration. The person who imagines themselves as capable, competent, and deserving of success gradually internalizes these qualities. This internalization reshapes self-perception, transforming limiting beliefs into empowering convictions. Confidence becomes habitual, not because it is manufactured artificially, but because it is repeatedly exercised through mental rehearsal. Each imagined success becomes a rehearsal for reality, embedding the belief in the subconscious mind and guiding conscious behavior in alignment with the envisioned self. Ultimately, imagination acts as both the forge and the fuel of self-belief. It allows the mind to see beyond current limitations, to rehearse mastery, and to cultivate unwavering confidence in the ability to achieve desired outcomes. By consistently engaging the imagination, individuals build an internal reservoir of conviction that carries them through challenges, informs wise decisions, and energizes persistent action. The person who combines imagination with belief transforms potential into reality, doubt into determination, and desire into achievement. Through this powerful synergy, imagination becomes not only the source of ideas and creativity, but the essential engine that drives enduring self-confidence and purposeful action. Continuous mental experimentation is a cornerstone of growth, innovation, and the effective application of imagination. The mind, when exercised consistently with new ideas, alternative approaches, and creative scenarios, develops a remarkable capacity to perceive opportunities, solve problems, and adapt to changing circumstances. This process is not limited to grand inventions or extraordinary achievements. It applies equally to daily life, personal development, and professional success. By imagining multiple possibilities, testing hypothetical solutions, and considering alternative outcomes, a person cultivates flexibility, sharpens judgment, and expands the limits of what they believe is achievable. Mental experimentation turns imagination from a static visualization into a dynamic tool, constantly refining and expanding the mind's capacity to create meaningful results. The act of mentally experimenting begins with curiosity and openness. The imaginative mind questions assumptions, explores possibilities, and refuses to accept the status quo as permanent. Each challenge, each situation, and each goal becomes an arena for testing ideas and exploring different strategies. By imagining alternative ways to achieve a desired outcome, a person engages in a form of cognitive rehearsal, simulating successes and failures in a controlled mental space. This practice strengthens decision-making, enhances creativity, and allows the individual to anticipate obstacles before they arise. Mental experimentation fosters a mindset in which challenges are approached as opportunities to innovate rather than threats to success. Moreover, continuous mental experimentation encourages calculated risk-taking. The individual who consistently imagines alternatives is more likely to recognize opportunities that others overlook and to act upon them with confidence. By mentally rehearsing the consequences of various actions, the mind becomes adept at evaluating potential outcomes, predicting challenges, and identifying the most promising paths forward. This rehearsal reduces fear of failure and cultivates the courage to pursue ambitious goals. Mental experimentation allows a person to test ideas safely within the mind before taking real-world action, thereby increasing the likelihood of success while minimizing unnecessary risk. The process also strengthens adaptability and resilience. Life is unpredictable, and rigid thinking often leads to frustration, missed opportunities, or failure. Continuous mental experimentation equips the mind to adjust strategies, pivot when necessary, and embrace change without losing sight of overarching goals. By imagining multiple scenarios, rehearsing responses, and considering alternative solutions, a person develops a mental agility that allows them to thrive under pressure. Obstacles become opportunities for creativity, and setbacks transform into valuable feedback that informs future actions. The imaginative rehearsal of alternatives ensures that the individual is always prepared to navigate the complexities of life with confidence and resourcefulness. Additionally, mental experimentation enhances problem solving and innovation. When a person consistently engages in creative exploration, they develop the habit of seeing connections, patterns, and solutions that others might miss. The act of imagining different approaches cultivates originality and sharpens analytical skills, enabling the mind to synthesize knowledge and generate inventive solutions. Each experiment, whether imagined or executed, expands the boundaries of understanding, providing insight into what works, what does not, and how outcomes can be improved. Over time, this continuous refinement of ideas and strategies leads to higher levels of competence, creativity, and achievement. Continuous mental experimentation also reinforces learning and mastery. By mentally rehearsing challenges, decisions, and outcomes, the mind internalizes lessons, recognizes the implications of choices, and builds confidence in one's ability to navigate complex situations. This mental rehearsal complements practical experience, allowing individuals to approach real-world problems with both preparation and insight. Each imagined scenario becomes a laboratory for testing principles, refining techniques, and gaining a deeper understanding of the dynamics of success. The practice ensures that learning is not confined to the immediate moment, but becomes a cumulative process, enhancing wisdom, judgment, and skill over time. Finally, continuous mental experimentation is essential for personal growth and meaningful contribution. The mind that constantly explores possibilities is never stagnant. It seeks new knowledge, tests new approaches, and envisions higher goals. This mindset drives ambition, fuels creativity, and sustains motivation, ensuring that a person's efforts are consistently directed toward progress and improvement. By imagining new ways to solve problems, innovate, and serve others, individuals align their creative power with purpose, creating solutions that benefit not only themselves but also the broader community. Mental experimentation transforms imagination into action, possibility into achievement, and potential into tangible impact. By embracing continuous mental experimentation, a person cultivates an agile, creative, and resilient mind capable of turning challenges into opportunities, ideas into innovations, and imagination into results. This deliberate practice ensures that the mind remains sharp, resourceful, and prepared to pursue ambitious goals with clarity, confidence, and unwavering determination. It is through this constant mental engagement that imagination becomes a living, dynamic force, guiding the individual toward meaningful accomplishment and a life of purpose. Imagination reaches its highest and most profound expression when it is directed toward contribution and service, for true meaning in life is realized not through personal gain alone, but through the positive impact we create in the lives of others. The individual who channels imaginative power toward helping, inspiring, and uplifting others transforms mere creativity into a force that transcends self-interest. When we imagine solutions to the challenges faced by our communities, when we envision ways to serve humanity, and when we picture a better world, we align our thoughts, actions, and energy with purpose that extends beyond ourselves. This application of imagination bridges personal ambition with social responsibility, turning mental vision into tangible benefits that resonate far beyond the individual. The act of contributing begins with the imagination's capacity to see what does not yet exist. In order to serve meaningfully, one must first conceive of opportunities where help is needed, problems that require solutions, and ways to inspire or empower others. Imagination allows the mind to explore scenarios beyond the current reality, to visualize impact before it is actualized. By mentally projecting the outcomes of generous, innovative, or transformative action, a person creates a mental blueprint that guides purposeful effort. This vision becomes the foundation upon which meaningful contribution is built, ensuring that actions are thoughtful, strategic, and aligned with the highest potential for positive effect. Moreover, imagination fuels empathy, which is the cornerstone of effective contribution. To truly serve others, one must first understand their needs, challenges, and aspirations. Imagination allows the individual to step into the perspectives of others, to envision their struggles, and to anticipate the outcomes of potential solutions. This mental exercise develops compassion, insight, and sensitivity, qualities that are essential for meaningful impact. By imagining the lives of those we seek to help, we create a deeper connection that informs both the intent and the effectiveness of our actions. Imagination, therefore, transforms abstract concern into actionable understanding, enabling contributions that are both relevant and transformative. Imagination also inspires innovation in service. Addressing the needs of others often requires creativity, original thought, and the courage to implement new ideas. By envisioning unconventional approaches, testing hypothetical solutions mentally, and imagining new ways to deliver assistance or create value, the mind generates strategies that might otherwise remain undiscovered. This inventive capacity ensures that contributions are not only well-intentioned, but also impactful, sustainable, and capable of producing lasting change. The imaginative mind refuses to accept limitations, turning challenges faced by others into opportunities for innovation, and in doing so, amplifies the scope and effectiveness of service. Furthermore, imagination strengthens the alignment between purpose and action. Individuals who consistently envision the positive impact of their efforts are naturally drawn toward activities that reflect their values and talents. The mental practice of imagining contribution creates clarity of intention, allowing actions to be deliberate rather than reactive. Each decision, effort, and initiative is guided by the mental image of the desired outcome, ensuring that time, energy, and resources are deployed in ways that maximize impact. The imaginative mind becomes both compass and engine, providing direction and motivation in the pursuit of meaningful work that benefits others. Imagination also fosters persistence and resilience in the pursuit of contribution. Meaningful impact is rarely instantaneous. It often requires sustained effort, adaptation, and overcoming resistance. By visualizing the long-term effects of their service, individuals cultivate patience and determination, maintaining focus on the ultimate goal even when immediate results are not apparent. The mental rehearsal of success, of lives improved and challenges overcome, strengthens resolve and nurtures the courage to persevere. In this way, imagination transforms potential discouragement into motivation, enabling the individual to continue striving toward meaningful outcomes with unwavering commitment. Finally, the act of channeling imagination toward contribution cultivates a legacy that transcends the individual. When creative energy is applied to solving problems, uplifting others, and improving society, the impact extends far beyond personal ambition, touching countless lives and creating ripple effects that persist across time and space. The imaginative mind not only shapes its own destiny, but also shapes the destiny of others, leaving a mark that reflects purpose, vision, and compassion. Contribution through imagination ensures that success is not measured solely by material gain or personal recognition, but by the enduring value created in the lives of others. By harnessing imagination as a tool for contribution, a person transforms creativity into meaningful action, ideas into solutions, and vision into tangible benefits for the world. This practice cultivates empathy, innovation, clarity of purpose, persistence, and the capacity to create a legacy that extends far beyond the self. Imagination becomes the vehicle through which the individual experiences fulfillment, transforms lives, and builds a meaningful life that resonates with significance and impact. In directing the power of the mind towards service, imagination transcends mere possibility and becomes the ultimate instrument for living a life of purpose, influence, and lasting meaning.